What's up, y'all? I'm back in here. It's Minds of the Future. As you can see, that Jordan's not in this video with me today. This is strictly a video I wanted to do, but he hasn't felt good the last few days. He's getting better, and our power's been out. So if you've been wondering what's been going on, our power keeps going out. We can't film. But anyway, today we are doing a Metallica discography ranking. I'm going to take each album and talk about them and give you my thoughts, my ratings on them from 10 to 1. This is a very hard thing for me to figure out because Metallica is my favorite band. So, and I don't hate any of their albums, even the ones that people think are duds. I don't understand the hate. So, let's go ahead and get this started. So first of all, it's no surprise that this one will be in the very bottom, but Saint Anger, it gets a lot of hate, mainly because it's the snare drum that everybody hates. Everybody loves to hate this album. I don't hate this album. I actually get a little bit of enjoyment out of it because it's got all the elements that, you know, the title, Saint Anger, all the anger, the rage, all the depression the band was going through, the addiction that James was going through battling. Everything comes out on this record, and if this record wouldn't have been made, Metallica might not even be around still. It's as simple as that. So, my favorite songs on the album are Frantic, Saint Anger, the title track, Some Kind of Monster, Shoot Me Again is a very cool song. Sweet Amber's cool, The Unnamed Feeling, and Purify. People hate that song. I love it. But this album, for what it is, and if you go back and you watch the Some Kind of Monster documentary, should I say, you'll get a feel and understanding of this album. And it'll make you dislike it less because of what the band was going through. This is my number 10. I give this album a 6 out of 10. It's not the best, but I'm not going to hate on this album because there are stuff that I like on it. Number 9, the comeback Metallica album after Saint Anger, Death Magnetic. Now, Death Magnetic was released in 2008 with a new producer, Rick Rubin. Saint Anger was the last one with Bob Rock. They went into this one to try to go back to the roots a little bit, and they do. They do a lot, actually. The production is a little loud. That's like one of my only gripes about it. It's an amazing album, start to finish. I'm glad that they brought this out because this was one of my first Metallica experiences. Back in 2008, I discovered these guys right before this album came out. I didn't go buy it right away when it come out. I got it a little while later. I don't know if at the time Walmart or whatever, the carrier here, didn't have it, so I waited a while to get it. Some of my favorite songs on this album was That Was Just Your Life, The End of the Line, The Day That Never Comes, my favorite song on the album. All Nightmare Long is a beast. The Unforgiven 3. People hate the song. It's fine. Just because it sounds a little different. I don't know. The Judas Kiss. Awesome. And My Apocalypse is probably, like, at this point in time, the thrashiest thing they had done since And Justice for All, probably. So I give this album a 7 out of 10. All day, every day. I'm not going to hate on this album at all. Just wish the production was a little bit turned down because the drums are really loud. Up next is an album that a lot of people don't like, these albums that are ranked lower, it's not because I don't like them, it's because the others I love just so much more and I have way more enjoyment out of. But this one is one of my first Metallica experiences as well. This came out the year I was born. It's Reload. Reload is a very different album. but I love it. I love their bluesy hard rock sound, and people dislike it so much, and I do not understand why. But with that being said, this was the second of a basically a double album they were trying to go for, but they had 30 something songs. So they put half on the first album and half on this one, which we'll get to load later. Reload, uh, it only has one or two songs that I'm not the biggest fan of, but this album used to go with me every day to school in my CD player, dude. Like, for people to say that they hate this album because it's different is nonsense. Um, Fuel, amazing. The Memory Remains, I like it, but it's been played to death. And the last minute, when I get to the last minute, I usually skip it because it's just, I like how they incorporate it in the middle of the song, but when the whole like nearly last minute is the part, you know what I'm talking about, I'm just like, that's a little annoying. Devil's Dance, big track, I love that. Unforgiven 2 is my favorite Metallica song for a very long time. Better Than You is cool. Slither is cool. Carpe Diem Baby's the one that I don't really care for on this album. Bad Seed's cool. Where the Wild Things Are is another one people like to gripe on, that they don't like this song. It's too slow. I like the vocals. The vocals are weird. I'm weird. Prince Charming. Fast Tune. Love this one. No Man's Lyric. This one in between Mama Said, it's hard to choose because I love Mama Said. Attitude. It's so underrated, I don't understand why. Fixer. Amazing closer and like a double part to The Outlaw Torn. I love it. I give this album a 7.5 out of 10. All day, every day. Next. The new album. This big old monster right here. Look. This is straight up 78 minutes of punishment to your face. When this come out, I was waiting. I was waiting for this to drop at midnight at Walmart. When this bad boy come out, I bought it. This album was like $16. I don't regret spending any of that money on this album. Amazing. An amazing comeback that we waited so long for. 8 years in the making between Death Magnetic and this, with the exclusion of Lulu, which we ain't gonna get into, and Beyond Magnetic, which was the EP that they dropped for Death Magnetic. A couple years later, it had some extra songs that were like B-sides. But you got Hardwired, Atlas Rise, Now That We're Dead's a cool track. Moth into Flame is a very big track. Dream No More is cool. I really enjoyed that one. Halo on Fire is one of the biggest tracks on this whole album. So atmospheric. Confusion is one that people love to hate. I'll never understand why. Man Unkind. This is the one that I'm kind of like, it's okay, but it's not top notch. Here Comes Revenge. Love that one. Am I Savage is the other one that I'm like, if they would have took off Am I Savage and Man Unkind, I believe that this would have been the album that would have been made for right after Injustice for All. Murder One, amazing tribute to Lemmy Kilmister. And Spit Out the Bone, the heaviest song I've ever heard since probably Injustice for All or Master of Puppets. It is amazing, easily the best song on the whole album. You should go buy this. Metallica fans have to have this. And apparently they're working on their new one. It's supposed to be out this year or the following year, depending on how things go with, the big craze that's going on right now. And I know that James is back out of rehab now, so proud of that. This is an 8 out of 10 all day long. Now the next one is ranked higher. This is it's more of a sentimental reason that this one is ranked so high. This was my first Metallica experience besides the song Fade to Black. Fade to Black was the very first song by Metallica I ever heard. But this, I happened to be rummaging one day and looking through a CD carrier that my dad had, and I found this album, and I was like, okay, this doesn't sound like Fade to Black at all, but I love it. And for that reason, Load is next. I love Load. No one will ever make me change my mind. I used to like Reload better, but over the years, as you mature, I've found that Load has just got the better lump sum of songs in it. So right here you got Ain't My Bitch, just starts out powerful. Love that. 2x4, another one. People don't like that one as much though, and I don't understand it. The House that Jack Built is like a slow burner, but it's a good song. Until It Sleeps was the song, the reason that I love Metallica. This song is what drew me in. I probably played Until It Sleeps to death. I'm talking repeat after repeat. King Nothing is okay. It's like a part 2 to Enter Sandman. I think it's cool. Bleeding Me, Hero of the Day. Hero of the Day is amazing. Cure, another one people don't like. It's heavy. Poor Twisted Me. People hate this one. I love Poor Twisted Me. I love the effects on James's vocals. It's just cool. Wasting My Hate is one of those that I don't really care for. I'll listen to it, but I don't really care for it all that much. Mama Said, my favorite song on the whole album besides Until It Sleeps. If those were to get, I can't pick. Mama Said is a very emotional, personal song, and for anyone to hate that song, you just, I don't know if you have a heart really. Thorn Within, another fast one. Ronnie is the other one that I'm like, it's okay, but it's not top notch. And Outlaw Torn, amazing. I love the solo. It's almost 10 minutes long, but who cares? It's every second is rocking on this album. This album is an 8.5 out of 10 all day, every day. The next one is where Metallica, you see them going mainstream, every radio station across the country, selling out stadiums around the world for years. And this changed Metallica's career for the rest of their career. We're talking about the very popular, it's probably an understatement, Black Album, Metallica, 1991. This album's everywhere. This album at this point in time in 2020 sold at least 30 million records worldwide. And for a thrash metal band, I don't think you can compete with that. I mean, at this point in time, they did kind of go for a more hard rock mainstream sound. But can you really hate them for that? This was what they've been working for 10 years. This is what they wanted, and they got it with this album. Alright, here we go. Enter Sandman. Love the song. I have to be in a certain mood to hear the song. That's just been played to death. Sad but true. Always a heavy hitter. Always will be. I love that song. Holier Than Thou. One of my favorites on the album. Unforgiven. The first Unforgiven. Amazing. Love the guitar work. Wherever I May Roam. One of the very first songs on drums that I ever learned. I love this song. Don't Tread on Me is a very underrated one, but it's a very cool song. Through the Never. Most underrated on the whole album, probably. And I don't understand why. In 2012 or 2013, they made a movie/concert by the title of Through the Never. And it's pretty cool. You should go check that out if you haven't. Nothing Else Matters is the biggest song on this whole album, period. Nothing Else Matters was everywhere. But it's a song that I won't skip if it comes on, because it's sentimental, it's emotional, it's powerful. The simple message is a deep message. It's amazing. Of Wolf and Man, one of the heaviest tracks on this whole album. The God That Failed. And people misinterpret the message on this one, where it's more so about his personal endeavors instead of religion, in a way. My Friend of Misery is cool. I love the bass line. The Struggle Within, my favorite one on the album. It's just super fast, thrashy, and I love it. I give this album right here an 8.75 out of 10 all day, every day. The main reason being that there's only one. Oh, Don't Tread on Me is one of the weaker moments on the album, and I love the rest of them so much more. And Don't Tread on Me is not even a bad song, but that's probably the weakest one on the whole album. But these next ones you can't compete with. Okay. If you would have asked me yesterday what my favorite Metallica album was, it would be this next one. And this is the number 4 now. Because I went back and I took some time to reestablish the classic 80s albums, those monster albums. And this one has moved from number 1 to number 4. And it's been my number 1 for a long time. Things like this happen though. But any day, these top 4 could swap. Anyone in the top 4 right here could go to number 1 or number 2. They could all just rearrange themselves on any given day, just depending on how I feel. And I love all these albums just about equally. There's nothing bad that I can really say. So let's get into this top 4. The hardest choices I've had to make were these. I probably played around with these for a good day, because the rest of them I already knew where I wanted them. But these 4, it had to be this way today. Number 4 is this monster, And Justice for All. This was my favorite album of all time yesterday. But going back, I reestablished a love for one that I kind of fell off with for a long time, and it is now back at my number 1. But And Justice for All, 1988. Coming off of the biggest album probably of all time in metal. How are you going to follow that up? Especially with the sudden death of Cliff Burton, your bass player, who was an amazing bass player. Rest in peace to you. How do you follow that up? Well, this is by far the most proggy technical thing they've ever done. Blackened, And Justice for All, Eye of the Beholder, One, just all amazing. The Shortest Straw, Harvester of Sorrow, Frayed Ends of Sanity is one of my favorite Metallica songs of all time. To Live Is to Die, and Dyer's Eve. Now, the reason it's number 4 and not number 1 anymore. A little bit of production issues here. Nothing that's going to take away from your experience of listening to the album, though. What the songs mean, how heavy they hit, all of that. And people gripe about the bass. Listen, I don't know what you're playing this album in, but I can go put this album in my truck all day, any day, and the bass pounds. So I don't know, are you listening in a cardboard box? But Blackened is a very good song, but it's not my favorite opener of all time. I'm sorry. I know people love it. I love it, but not my favorite on the album. And Justice for All, the song, I love it, but I believe it's just a little too long. It's almost 10 minutes. And To Live Is to Die. To Live Is to Die, I've never been a big fan of their instrumentals, but this one just feels like it's a little bit slower than the rest. It's a slow burner. I understand. That's not a bad thing. So, all day, every day, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. This one. If you would have told me yesterday that this album would be in my top 3 Metallica albums of all time, I would have told you were insane. Because for so long I disliked this album. I'm talking to the point to where I had it right below, I believe I had it right below Death Magnetic, which would have been number 7. And it's not that I even dislike Death Magnetic or Saint Anger. I just, for some reason, for the longest time, I could never get any, like, enjoyment out of the album except for 3 songs on the album. And I don't know why. As much as I love Metallica, I'd never put it on and played it. And I had the album for years. But I sat down. I was like, I gotta give this a chance. I have to. And it's got one of my favorite artworks of all time. So I sat down. I played the whole album through. My whole attitude changed about this album. My whole perspective of what I thought, how I said that this album was yesterday, I feel stupid. Because if I would have done this video yesterday, this album would have been so much lower and I would feel awful and I would have to take it off and redo this whole thing. So I took an extra day to go back and listen to some of the most important albums in their career. So, number 3, very respectively, and these top 3, just like I said with Injustice for All and number 4, can swap any day. I never would have thought that this album would be in my top 3, but it is. Kill 'em All. I did not like this album. And I think it's because it sounds like they're in a garage. But when you take it as a thrash debut in 1983, thrash was not popular. And when you take that in itself with a debut like this, I was a fool. I really was. I love this album now. Everything on here. Everything. The only song that I don't care for, like I said before with the instrumental, is Anesthesia. It's the only one that I'm just like, it's okay. I'm not hating on it. It has some great bass work by Cliff Burton. Amazing bass work by him. I'm just not a big fan of instrumentals. That's it. But if you had told me a few days ago that this would be in my top 3, I would have told you that you were crazy, and that this album sounded like it was recorded in a trash can, just because of the sound of it being so raw and aggressive and echoey. But I can't say that now. I literally played this whole album through and didn't skip a song. Hit the Lights. Amazing opener. Amazing. The Four Horsemen. In my top 3 Metallica songs of all time. Motor Breath. Fast. Pretty cool. Jump in the Fire's cool. It's another cool one. Anesthesia is my least favorite, but I love the bass work by Cliff. Whiplash. Another fast, heavy one. Phantom Lord. That was one of them that I was like, I don't really care for this one, but today, I can't say that either. No Remorse, one of my other favorites on this album. No Remorse is awesome. Seek and Destroy. This was the song that got them noticed. They were playing a lot in the, I guess the San Francisco area, the Los Angeles, San Diego areas, I'm guessing, for a while. And then they went to like New York and recorded this. And in New York, they played a bunch of shows. Seek and Destroy got put on the radio and went bananas. Okay? Seek and Destroy still play on the radio today. I love Seek and Destroy. Do I need to listen to it again? I mean, probably not, but do I? Yeah. If it comes on, I'm not going to skip it, especially if it's on the radio, because radio don't play Metallica like they used to. And Metal Militia, what a way to end an album. I'm glad that I gave it a listen, because I appreciate it so much more now, and it makes me love Metallica that much more. And the album artwork I've always thought was top notch. In the top 2, 3 easily on artwork. And I'm going to put this bad boy in as soon as this recording's over with and listen to it again. Oh yeah, and it's a 9.5 out of 10. Yeah. Number 2. This has my earliest Metallica experience. Fade to Black. We're talking about Ride the Lightning, 1984. This was the album that came just a little over a year, I believe, after Kill 'Em All. They stepped up their game so much on this album. The production's clear. They took more time to build songs, to write songs. Favorite opening track of all time is Fight Fire with Fire. I love Fight Fire with Fire. Ride the Lightning. Amazing title track. Epic, big sounding. The thunderstorm in the background is awesome. For Whom the Bell Tolls, been played to death. Everybody knows this song. Fade to Black. Love Fade to Black. My very first Metallica song that I ever heard. And every band that I've ever been in, we've covered this song. My band that I'm in now, it was in the top 3 songs we've started a cover list. It's in there because it's amazing. It's iconic. And this was your first time ever hearing a ballad or anything like this from Metallica. It's a game changer. Trapped Under Ice. One of the more underrated songs on the whole album. And amazing. I love Trapped Under Ice as much as Escape. Escape is cool, even though it's a little quick throw in. It's amazing. Like, if you could just throw a song in like that and it worked that well, what are you doing? Creeping Death. Favorite song on the album. I love Creeping Death. So many memories with this, and ain't even funny. Just in the odd and wrong times too. I'm talking like driving in the middle of the night during a thunderstorm and it randomly come on the radio, that kind of thing, at like 2 or 3 in the morning. Yeah. And Call of Cthulhu, easily my favorite instrumental by them. I love this instrumental, actually. Great album. This album is a 9.75 out of 10 all day. Any day. Amazing. And if you've made it this far in the video without throwing tomatoes at your computer screen or cussing me or throwing me a bird or anything like that, you probably know what number 1 is. And this is the album that knocked Injustice for All out of number 1. And I hadn't listened to this album for a long time, so I was like, I'm going to go back and give it another chance. And I did. And I'm glad I did. Because this one was going to be my number... It would have been my number 2. Anyway, because just of the sentimental value alone of this album. And what it did for me. And for my love for metal music. And we're talking about the biggest metal album of all time. Master of Puppets. 10 out of 10. Amazing. This was my very first Metallica album that I went and bought with my own money. And I didn't buy it from eBay. I didn't buy it from Amazon. I was an 8-year-old kid. I went to Hastings, which is an old music store, bookstore, game store. I love that place. And I bought this album, and I'm pretty sure that I bought it a brand new copy, which was about $16. No money wasted. This is the original case that was in it. I've took care of this album as long as I've had it because it's my favorite album of all time. Hands down. There's nothing going to beat this album for me. Battery. Amazing. Second favorite opening track of all time. Easily because the guitar work. That opening acoustics, just like with Fight Fire with Fire, is amazing. Master Puppets, the great title track. Man, is it a wild ride. The thing that should not be. This is one that people don't like too much, but I love this song. Always love this song. Welcome Home Sanitarium is the ballad of the album, kind of like Fade to Black. It's not as good as Fade to Black to me, but I still love the song. Disposable Heroes, easily my second, third favorite on the album. It's so hard to pick what my favorite is on this album. Leper Messiah, another heavy hitter. Another one that's kind of underrated, but, oh man, I don't even know what to say about it. Orion. Orion is the last recording of bass and instrumental, basically, that we ever got. Besides the Garage Days revisited thing, that they did right after this, I believe. They recorded and then it come out. Maybe. I could be wrong on that. But I do know Orion is the last instrumental he's on. I like Orion. I'm not going to say I don't like it. Even though I'm not a big instrumental guy, Orion it's pretty good. And Damage Incorporated. What a way to end the album. It's just like Damage Incorporated could literally be on Injustice for All, the next major album that come after this. It's just so heavy. Like, you're getting a sneak peek of what's to come when you listen to Damage Inc. I don't think anything is better than this. You can't tell me there's a metal album out there that's better than this. Unless it's myself arguing about these top 4. That's the only way you're going to get me to believe it. So, with that being said, number 1, Master of Puppets. Number 2, Ride the Lightning. Number 3, Kill 'Em All. Number 4, Injustice for All. Number 5, Black Album. A little glare there. I don't know what happened. Load. Number 6. Number 7. Yep. This one. Number 8. Reload. Number 9. Death Magnetic. And last but not least, I don't hate this album. Saint Anger. Metallica's my favorite band of all time. Easily. Megadeth, as you know, Dave Mustaine was in Megadeth, and he was in Metallica before. He did write some of the songs that is on Kill 'Em All, and I think there's 1 or 2 song credits on Ride the Lightning that Metallica went and used, but they gave him credit for it. Dave Mustaine was a very amazing guitar player with Metallica, but if he wouldn't have been out of Metallica, we wouldn't have got Megadeth, and I love Megadeth too. With Metallica, it's such a sentimental thing for me to talk about. They're the first metal band that I ever really loved or got into. They were my introduction to metal, hard rock, and it's just one of those things to where they hold a special place for me, and they're my favorite band of all time. They're always going to be my favorite band of all time. No matter what they release, I will buy it. That's how much I love them. And I hope that the new album coming out will make me want to redo this list. That's what I'm hoping for. Because if they come out with an album that can beat Hardwired and be up there in the top 5 or 6, I will redo this list probably. But for now, that's all we got for you. We'll be back tomorrow with our regular schedule. Jordan's a little under the weather here. We've had some storms kind of knocking our power out constantly. He'll be back tomorrow. You're getting this video tomorrow. You're getting the Nightwish Human Nature album review, and we'll be back on track with some more song reviews for you. So, with that being said, I hope you don't hate me for this ranking. And we'll see you next time. Peace.